Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today's video is going to be quite interesting because it's mainly about cleaning. I was recently sent these two Lost in Space toys and from a glance they look pretty good, but they are filthy, especially this one here. So today's project is going to be to work out how to get these cleaned up and back in a displayable state, because currently I wouldn't really even want to touch them. Now, I'm a really big fan of that Lost in Space movie, and I especially like the toys. I thought the design of them was absolutely excellent. So I've been trying to collect as many as I can over the years, and these two are completely new to me. They look like they were giveaways at the Long John Silver's restaurant in the US, which is probably why I have never seen them. There are actually 4 different toys available. You could get Future Smith, you could get the robot, you could get Blorp, and you could also get Don West. And these are sort of finger puppet type toys, really. If you turn this one over, you can see there are some holes on the back of his arms, and the idea is that you put your fingers in and you can sort of move his arms around like a big finger puppet. And the same here on this robot, although I'm not going to put my hand in here and I'll show you why in a minute. They're fairly interesting toys because they're part plastic and part fabric, and that makes them a bit awkward to clean. Normally with toys I would just dunk them in some hot soapy water and clean off all of the sort of dirt and grime, but because these are fabric we're going to have to sort of do some different work with them. This Future Smith here is fairly clean overall. There's some dirt marks here. You can see there's some sort of oil stain on the front, and then there's dirt on the sort of plastic parts and other little sort of stains around. So for cleaning this one I could do most of it without sort of submerging it in the water. I don't want to really submerge the middle section of this because it is full of sponge and I think it would take a long time to clean, but we might have to do something because I've got to get that dirt off there. This one is the real issue. I'm not quite sure what has gone on with it, but it is filthy. If I turn it over, you can see we've got staining all over the back here. It is really sticky. Everything is sort of sticky up here. And if you look inside, I don't know if I can show this on camera, there's like noodles or something inside there. So I don't really want to put my hand in here because it is so sort of sticky and dirty. And that's where the issue comes with this. Normally with toys, you just sort of take them apart. This one you can't take apart, but this one, it's got screws on the back and you think, oh, well, that's going to be really easy to take apart. But it's got really awkward screws on it. They're not Phillips head screws. These are sort of triangular headed screws. So I've actually had to buy a bit of equipment just to get this thing apart. I bought this, it's just a new screwdriver, but this has the same sort of triangular head that is required to undo these screws. Now I've never used one of these before, so I just had to do a bit of searching on eBay. Basically what I did to get the right size was I measured the hole in the center of that screw and then just used that as a guide. So this is the same diameter as that, which I think is 2.5 millimeters, but that means I should be able to take the back of this off, take this out, and then we can sort of start cleaning it, because yeah, as I say, it is absolutely disgusting. There's also more sort of dirt and grime on the front. There's something pink in there, but yeah, it's definitely noodles or something inside this. It is disgusting. So let's start trying to take this one apart and then we'll see what we can do for cleaning, because I would really like to get these on display here because I think they're absolutely fantastic. So yeah, let's start deconstructing this and see what we can do.
toy-polloi. That is incorrect. Try again.
So it does look like it's going to be fairly straightforward to take apart. There are a load of screws on the back. I think this front section is actually made out of 2 parts because I can just about see another screw in there, but with the fabric in the way I can't really see what's going on. So let's take this apart. There are a couple of different types of screw as well. We've got some with washers attached which are holding this fabric in, and then some sort of plainer screws around the edge. So really there is only one thing to do, which is to take it apart, and we'll use my new screwdriver here and see if this actually works, see if we can get into this. So let's get unscrewing. Okay, so that is all apart. Surprisingly more difficult than I thought. Those screws are pretty awkward to get out. And then we've got one bit at the bottom which is glued as well as screwed in place. So this little panel here goes over one of the holes on the fabric section and is then glued and screwed on top of it. Luckily, I've been able to just break part of the glue enough that I can pull the fabric out. Getting it back in is going to be pretty awkward, but at least I've got it out and I can now get this clean. And yeah, it is noodles or something that's inside it. You can see there's bits of them there and there's quite a lot down there in the corner. And it is just disgusting. It's really sticky, and that's why I wanted to take this apart, because I want this to be nice and clean. I don't think I can take these things out. These are the sort of bits that you're supposed to be able to put your fingers in. I guess a child is supposed to be able to sort of put their fingers in there and move these like little arms. Those are glued in place, so I'm going to have to clean those on this whole plastic section. But yeah, this is the really filthy part. Apart from having noodles in there, this has got all sorts of stains over it. I'm guessing it's the sauce from that noodle dish has leaked everywhere and stained everything. So I'm hoping that this will wash up quite nicely. If it doesn't though, this is just blue toy knit, the stuff that I used to make capes for all sorts of action figures. So maybe I could remake that. I think I've possibly got some of this blue. It would just be a case of sewing around it, and then there are some sort of little riveted pieces, but it doesn't look like the rivets are particularly necessary, so maybe I can make that again. But yeah, the first thing to do is give this all a good clean. So I'm going to clean the plastic bits first. That should be really easy. Just some hot soapy water and a toothbrush, and I'll let everything soak and see if we can actually get some of this food out. This I think I will have to wash by hand and just see what happens. I'll soak it in some fabric cleaning stuff and just see what happens. It may come out, it may not, as I say. And then this one, yeah, I'm going to clean all of the plastic as best I can without submerging everything, and then we'll see if we can rub that off. Maybe just using a bit of cloth and some soap, we might be able to clean it away. But it's going to be quite a cleaning job, this, because it is disgusting. So yeah, let's get this cleaned up. It's now a day later and everything is dry. I made sure all of the fabric has had time to dry and all of the plastic, and it is looking a whole lot better. The stain that was on the front of this Future Smith and the fabric has come out really nicely. In fact, you would be hard pushed to know there was any sort of stain there. The soap that I used just managed to get all of that off. I've got most of the marks off on the plastic on this. There's a few sort of yellow stains here which just don't seem to shift, but otherwise he is looking really lovely. All of the food residue has now come out of the robot as well. It was sort of really stuck in, and it was just noodles, so I just had to let these pieces soak for ages, and then the sort of food came away. So those are looking really clean. I got most of the grime off the little hands there as well. But the thing that looks the most different is actually the fabric piece on the back. If you remember, there was a massive sort of oily, greasy stain all around the back here, and as you can see, most of that has gone. There's a slight bit of staining here just around this one rivet that won't come out. I've washed that area a couple of times and that just doesn't seem to shift, but the rest of it is looking almost brand new. I'm so impressed with how clean that has come out. So the next thing to do is actually to put this all back together, which I'm hoping will be fairly straightforward. There's one awkward bit, obviously this section here where I couldn't take this plastic piece off. It is glued in place. So I've just sort of slightly cracked part of the glue on this side. We've got to push the fabric back in under there. So that could be a bit awkward, but let's get the screws out and start putting this together. And hopefully that will turn out to be easier than I'm imagining. So yeah, let's get this put back together and see what it looks like again. And there we go, there were the two sort of hand puppet, finger puppets, all back together and looking really lovely and clean. This wasn't so much an exercise in restoration as an exercise in cleaning toys. They were just so filthy when they arrived here. This one particularly had so much sort of food waste and other things stuck inside it, but now you can see it almost looks brand new, which is what I wanted, and I actually feel quite confident in putting my hand inside it. I know that I'm not going to sort of get any nasty surprises. I actually have no idea how these toys were supposed to work. They are designed to be finger puppets, but I can't even get a sort of finger inside there to move the little arms, and I would have thought it would be quite hard to get a child to get their hand in there as well to make those little arms move. So it's a very strange toy, but a unique one, and I'm quite pleased to have that in my collection. This one as well is looking really rather nice. I've got most of the sort of marks off it, so again, it's fully displayable. I'm not quite sure how this one is supposed to work either. You can put your fingers in either side, and I guess you're just supposed to sort of wobble his arms about. Possibly a little bit easier to do than the robot, but still not the sort of greatest of toys. It's an odd one, but as I say, I do like Lost in Space, so I'm really pleased to have both of these in my collection. And I have to say a massive thank you to Christopher and Courtney, who very kindly sent these over. It's not been a huge amount of work, but it's been well worth doing. But I had to buy myself a new screwdriver to get the robot apart, so that's going to go straight in my toolbox, and maybe I will get to use it again. It's always useful having new tools in the toolbox. So thanks to those guys for sending these over. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it and want to help me out here at toy-polloi, then why not think about becoming a patron of the channel. You get early access to all of my restoration videos, plus access to an exclusive video series called On the Cutting Mat. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.